so here we go. I've decided it's a little on the too dark side. So I've got two ways to fix that. One is I'm going to darken the background a little bit in here. And the other is I'm going to differentiate more between these two buildings. With the one in the back, yes, that actually was two buildings. With the one in the back becoming, well, you'll see. You'll see what it becomes. All right, so in this case, I'm actually going to be using a couple of brushes. And you'll see why as we move along. First, the sky. So for the sky, let's use, they are exactly the same. We'll use one of these. I'm going to make it kind of oddly happy because I've changed my mind about the look I want. And I might change my mind again. This happens a lot when I paint. I often will change my mind about things as the vision changes. I mean, I kind of like that, but I'm not sure it's where I want to go. Nope. So what we're going to do, and I'm probably purposely making mistakes so you can see, well, I'm not sure that it's actually a mistake, so much as an indecisiveness. Mainly because I have more than one vision, which I guess means there's more than one painting going on. Let's get this out of here. I like that. Why can't the sky be blue? Because I see it, I don't see a blue sky. In one of my visions, I see a perfectly blue sky. But in the other, I see a very gray sky. So we're going to have to kind of add that together. It's going to have to be a blue-gray sky. And I actually want it to be kind of wispy. And so I think that means a brush. Let's use this brush. This is what happens when you have more than one vision in your head for things going on. Luckily, by the time I finish, it'll say exactly what I want it to say. At the moment, of course, I'm a little undecided about things. Now, every artist works differently. And so there are probably some artists out there who are thinking, well, you know, if only she did it this way, she'd get what she wanted, but it wouldn't be that way. Part of my whole technique is that a lot of it comes more from the heart, if you will, more instinctually than from the brain, which is kind of weird because I'm constantly using my brain. It's like something I'm proud of myself for. Ever since I was a little kid, I liked to think about thinking, which is kind of weird, but there you go. Now, that's getting a little too loose. There we go. And I'm doing it right-handed here because it's the right side of the thing. And you get a better view. There. Okay, a little little bit of water, a little bit of blue, I think. Now sometimes I've had skies that were very thick with the paint, very thick paint, and in fact I've used the plastic fork that normally you would use on a picnic. I've used that to manipulate some of the thicker paint, and I like that effect, that technique. But it doesn't work for everything. It's not appropriate for everything. And I don't think it's particularly appropriate at the moment for this piece. Because I don't want that much attention on the sky. And when I get around to messing with texture, maybe yes. In that case. But when I want less about the texture, sometimes I just want to use a looser paint. But then paintings are built up, at least the way I see it. I see paintings as being built up. All right. That may be a little darker than I want in some areas. Let's lighten it down here. So I'm going to lighten it towards the horizon, if you will. Not that I think we ever get to the horizon. But down here we're going to lighten it up. And it may be that this one actually prefers, I've always been enamored of skies. Someday I'd like to do paintings that are just sky, not much else, just skies. Actually, I have done that a few times, except that they always end up having something else in them. All right, so that's nice and dark there. Okay, now I'm thinking I may not want this here. I may want to get rid of that. So let's see what happens if I get rid of this background hill here that I'm not too keen on having after all. I think it could be better as something else. And then if I change my mind, well, that's what paint's invented for. I'll do it again. Of course, there is a texture there that I can't actually get rid of now unless I sand, and I don't like to sand. All right. Now let me see. Something a little darker. And for all I know, I'll be replacing it again. All right. So there's a sky that's somewhat blue and gray. Kind of suits how I see the day. A little darker there. It may have too much interest in it. We'll see. I may soften it out later. All right, so that's where I am with that. That's the new sky. And next up, we'll be working on the buildings.